fact.
Okay, question 1.
Roy Daniel and Co. Howdy, my name is Grant Lefebvre, and I work with McDonald Broadcasting in Lansing. First, thank you for empirically providing that COVID ads were for geeks earlier this year. That was hugely helpful to our creative and sales. Now to the thing. One of our longest running clients is a local market and butcher shop called Monticello's, or Monticello's, depending on where you're from. And they are in need of a brand spanking new campaign. They have been one of our most loyal clients for years, but their initial campaign has long since become stale. We took some time to refocus and put together the first spot of a completely different campaign to move their business up and out of this flaming shitbag for a year. We would love your thoughts on both this and how you might envision the campaign evolving. Thanks for the wizardry, Grant.
Okay, so we're going to listen to an ad that Grant created. And I'm going to show you the script, and then we're going to talk about how it could be better. You ready?
Let's do it.
Oh, hey there. This is your steak knife. I don't know if you remember me. I've been keeping busy here in the back of the drawer since you started shopping at Monticello's. No, trust me, I understand. Monticello's meat is so tender you can cut it just by looking at it the wrong way. Using a steak knife is only a formality these days, especially with Monticello's juicy tenderloins, ribeyes, and marinated chicken breasts, and not to mention the unstoppable broken fire hydrant of flavor. That is Monticello's take and bake department. My goodness, the chicken pot pies, the lasagna, oh, and the deli too. Fresh homemade salads and easy take-home sides. You're basically losing money if you don't buy them. So all that's to say, I understand, but maybe I could cover for the butter knife one of these days. I hear you spread pretty thin. Wait.
Make tonight a Monticello's night with Monticello's Market and Butcher Block on Marsh Road, just south of Business 69. Local, fresh, best.
Okay, reactions. Zach.
It sounds like an ad, and I think the music track has a lot to do with that for me. It's a grocery store. I don't know where the rock and roll guitar comes in.
All right. That's called the production director.
Yeah, okay.
See, production directors, their job is to keep the energy up on the station. And if you're not careful, you have all this energy from all this amazing music, and then you have a dry voice ad come on, the energy just implodes. Whoa. Everything just kind of goes dead. Now, I respect that. However, did you know there's a big thing right now? The FDA is actually Food and Drug Administration is actually being petitioned by a big organization that says they need to remove the music from drug ads on television. Because the music keeps you from actually understanding the danger of the side effects. And they have to list all the side effects. Side effects may include you could fall over dead,
Is this like we're revisiting ancient Roman law about a senator not being able to give a speech to music because of the influence?
It was specifically a flute. If a Roman senator could not make a speech with a person playing a flute in the background, because music makes the message seductive, because then there's the unguarded right hemisphere instead of the closely guarded left. And so music is interpreted by the part of the brain that doesn't understand right from wrong, true from false, and has no morals. And that's half your brain. And so when words and music, which are two different languages of sound, become enmeshed, it is the music that dictates the person's reaction, not the lyrics. And they knew that in ancient Rome. And so the drug companies are now being petitioned, no. Music keeps people from understanding the words because they take the message, the mood, the attitude. And this is why, in Magical Worlds, we play these songs that are triumphant and happy and celebratory. And there are songs about suicide and murder. Mm-hmm. And you're going, and you never realized they were about suicide and murder because they're such happy songs. Born in the USA, I was born in the USA. And you're going, oh yeah, that's dark. It's like, this is not good.
That's not a patriotic song.
That's not a patriotic song. It's an anti-patriotic song. So the point is this. The music's not what troubled me the most, even though I actually like the ad. There's some things about that ad I super much like. I liked it enough, but I'm going to show Grant how to make it even better. Okay? So what did you notice about it?
To me, it sounded like two ads.
Right.
And so I was in it with the steak knife, and I like the way that I empathize with the steak knife, but it didn't push it so far that I felt sorry for the steak knife, right? Because again, that's not our friend. Like that's like, we don't want to use him. So I like that it's like, hey, let me spread the butter from time to time, and it doesn't sound pathetic. And so that's where I think having a little bit more upbeat is good. So I don't feel sorry for it. But it took a turn, and it's like, now we're talking about our deli, and now we're talking about all these other things. So there were sort of two different themes there, where I've got the image of, wow, they have really great, amazing meat that I can go and get that's, cut it with a fork type stuff.
Right.
That was great. And then there's the, make it a Monticello night where it's just go pick up your food and go with all the other stuff. And that just, to me, it sounded like two things. And then we brought it back around to the steak knife. So I think you got two ads in one is what popped into my head.
Now, just so that everybody knows, we do not rehearse this. They have not seen the ad.
Right.
So now we're going to look at the original script. And by the way, I'm going to say this one more time. I know it's a tradition in broadcasting to put everything in all caps. It is not a good tradition. There is no intelligent reason for putting things in all caps in radio scripts. It's a very bad idea. We have a lifetime of experience reading things in upper and lower case. And uppercase letters indicate to us it's either the beginning of a sentence, okay, or it's a proper noun. And when it's in all caps, it's actually harder to read because we do not have a lifetime of experience reading things in all caps. And this is from David Ogilvy's book, Ogilvy on Advertising, from the 1980s. And it's one of the only 3 books anybody ever needs to read on advertising, in my opinion. Ogilvy on Advertising. So don't do this. Even if they tell you to, just say no.
Well, if the people reading are under the age of, 35, even 40, if they're like a digital first type,
Right.
all caps says yelling. So you got to be really careful if you wanted to place particular emphasis. If you all caps everything, then
I would like to say that in my rewrite of this script, that to demonstrate my point, I made it upper and lower case. But there's not a button you can press to make that happen. And I decided,
seems like a lot of work.
I'm not going to retype this. I'm just going to rant about it and make Grant feel bad. And then I'm not actually going to care enough to change it,
Right.
to demonstrate.
Yeah.
But
So next time he sends us an ad,
so what you were talking about, Ryan, what you were talking about is that section right there.
Yeah.
So tenderloins, ribeyes, and marinated chicken breast, and not to mention,
Right.
and then he does insert the unstoppable broken fire hydrant of flavor.
Yeah, which
I love that.
That was great. Yeah.
I love that.
That
I love
image, I was like, wow.
That's awesome. That's really good writing. And then he goes take and bake department. Wait a minute, we went from meat to take and bake.
Right.
And then, my goodness, chicken pot pies, lasagna, lions and tigers and bears, oh my, and homemade salads and easy take-home sides. And I'm going, this is what's called a grocery list, even when it's not an ad for a grocery store.
Yep.
It's just called a freaking grocery list. And so anytime you insert a grocery list in an ad, and there's times that it's necessary, there's times that the client just desperately needs and wants you to do that. And you never want to fight a client to the mat. And here's why. The client is not an idiot. Don't treat them like one. And when they want you to do something that's against your better judgment, and you've told them why that maybe isn't a great idea, if they still want you to do it, just shut up and figure out how to do it and do it well. So I took that position. Rather than say, this was the wrong thing to do, I'm going to say, nope, let's assume that the client insisted on this.
All right.
Let's look at a better way to do it. You ready? We're going to use what I think of as the Australian or the Scottish character. I don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
I love the accent. I love that character.
And it's utterly irrelevant to Americans because we can't tell anyway.
We can't tell.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I love that voice. I may call McDonald Broadcasting and say, I need that guy to do me some things because it's a good voice. And he says, oh, hey, there. So I have him open, but instead of saying Monticello's ribeyes and tenderloins and blah, 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 especially with Monticello's juicy meats.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then a different voice says tenderloins. And then another voice says, I want the ribeye. And then a fourth voice says marinated chicken breast or whatever. So you have these 3 very different voices that just come out of nowhere that keep you engaged. And so they're chiming in from the cheap seats. And then we're back with our Irish guy or Scottish or Australian. And then he says, and so the thing in green are the words I added. Now, keep in mind, I also cut more words than I added. And so my script is actually shorter than the other one, which means we can slow down a little bit. And he says, Monticello's is an unstoppable broken fire hydrant of flavor. Okay. And then voice 2, chicken pot pies, lasagna. Just take it and bake it, baby. And so only 2 of them speak instead of 3. And then voice 1 is back. Just take it and bake it, baby. And then the last guy chimes in, fresh homemade salads and easy to take home sides. And so what happens is by breaking it up and making these insertions from a whole chorus of other voices, it's not one guy reading us a list that makes it sound like an ad. All you need to do is get 3 other people to chime in with an equally goofy voice so that it just sounds like a whole cast of colorful characters. And the main guy, the MC, he says, especially with Monticello's juicy meat. So he introduces the category of meats. 3 people mention their favorite meat. And then he says it's an unstoppable broken fire hydrant of flavor. And then 2 of them pop in with chicken pot pies and lasagna. And then he names the category. Take it and bake it. See what I mean? And then the other person says fresh homemade salads and easy take home sides. And then I added in green, here's an idea. Maybe I could cover for the butter knife. And he says, I hear you spread pretty thin. And then the announcer comes on, and I changed this sequence of what the announcer says. Let's go back to what it said before. Make tonight a Monticello's night with Monticello's Market and Butcher Block on Marsh Road, just south of Business 69. That's awkward. Now, we don't need to say a Monticello's night at Monticello's. Right? And so I just said, make tonight a Monticello's night, just south of Business 69 on Marsh Road. Now, he said Marsh Road, just south of Business 69. No. It actually is easier to keep track of in your brain if you say just south of Business 69 on Marsh Road.
Yeah, because I'm already beginning to picture the general location, and then you narrow me down.
And then you say Monticello's, local, fresh, best. When you add Market and Butcher Block, and so I would give the client this whole bunch of stuff that he wants to include. I would have asked for one give from the client. If they know you sell meat and takeout and it's called Monticello's and they know where you're located, I don't think we need to use Market and Butcher Block. I think we demonstrated that we sell butcher stuff in our list of meat.
Right. It goes back to show, don't tell.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah.
Show, don't tell. Now.
Oh, hey there. This is your steak knife. I don't know if you remember me. I've been keeping busy here in the back of the drawer since you started shopping at Monticello's. No, trust me, I understand. Monticello's meat is so tender you could cut it just by looking at it the wrong way. Using a steak knife is more of a formality these days, especially with Monticello's juicy meats.
Tenderloins. I want the ribeye.
Marinated chicken breasts.
Monticello's is an unstoppable broken fire hydrant of flavor.
Lasagna. Chicken pot pies.
Fresh homemade salads and easy take-home sides.
So all that's to say, I understand. Here's an idea. Maybe I could cover for the butter knife one of these days. I hear he's spread pretty thin. Wait.
Make tonight a Monticello's night, just south of Business 69 on Marsh Road. Monticello's, local, fresh, best.